all, I think I know a lot of people, but I don't know everyone on here. So I'm the host. I'm your host of this travel salon. My name is Julia Matheson, and I am a travel advisor based in North Carolina, but people are from all over the place. And I am super excited to be starting this travel salon. A salon to me is, back in the 18th century, women, had gatherings at their homes because they weren't really allowed in, the public sphere. And they would have, artists and writers and philosophers and all kinds of interesting people come, and they would just have lively discussions. And so I wanted to kind of start that, since we can't go anywhere and we can't really hang out together in my living room. And so I thought I would start off with Paris 3 ways. And so we're in my head, it's sort of Paris for lovers, Paris for history buffs, and then Paris for families. And so when I was thinking about this, I was like, who can I have for the Paris for lovers? Who knows about romance in Paris? And immediately I thought of the adorable Oliver and Lina. They are, I don't know, they're artists, authors, Instagram famous influencers, and just a really wonderful couple that live in Paris. They're both expats. Oliver's from Australia and Lina is from Sweden. And they very kindly agreed to join me and kind of share their favorite off the beaten track, maybe secret romantic spots in Paris. And they clearly, they're awesome. So I can't wait to have you guys hear from them. And this is going to be pretty interactive. So if you want to unmute yourself or send me a chat and ask questions, go for it. So, yeah.
I can't hear anything, but go ahead.
I just took the balance of the cream that was left over.
Uh-huh.
All
right.
Someone else. Maybe I'll try and figure out who I need.
I'm muting and admitting people at the same time as you're talking, Julia. And maybe you can do the same thing when we're talking.
when you take over, I'll sort of watch the participants. So.
But there's always we've done a lot of these similar kind of events, and there's always something that goes a little bit wrong. If we just embrace it, it could be.
It's all good, right? It's all good. Oh, and I'm not having wine because it's a little early in the day for that here, personally for me. But Oliver is having some wine. Lina cannot enjoy wine with us because they have just announced their first pregnancy. Yeah. So congratulations for her, and we'll just all say cheers with whatever beverage we're drinking.
I'll do wine.
Perfect.
I tried to hold it up to show you what it was, but I don't know if that worked. But cheers to everybody, and thanks for taking the time to join us talking. What an exciting thing! How humbling!
How many are we now? 46. Okay, that's wonderful.
Goodness, that's fantastic.
That's a good amount of people.
Yes, it is.
Before we even sort of get started, is the idea, Julia, that you just sort of turn the mic over to us and we'll take over?
Yeah, I might interrupt you because I tend to do that.
Okay, good.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I thought I'd say before we say anything at all is that both of us love the interactive thing too.
Yeah.
So while we're talking, and maybe while Lena's talking, whatever, I like to scan through and look at your faces, even when you're on mute. Like if Lena says something that's funny, I'll be looking to see if people are laughing. So if you do laugh, do an exaggerated version where you wobble your hands about in the air and so on, so that we feel like we're in a room doing a real event, like a salon, as Julia said before, right?
Exactly.
I just mute someone as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
But,
I'm trying to go in and mute. If you guys haven't muted yourself, if you wouldn't mind for now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can unmute yourself if you want to ask a question or interject, but that'd be great.
I think the best way that we're going to do this, because we're doing it a little bit different to different events that we've done in the past, is that Lena and we've written down 5 really cool romantic things with cool stories behind that we'll share. And the way I think it'll work best, considering there are a lot of us here, is if we just sort of do it as a sort of presentation, unscripted, but planned out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we'll do a proper interactive Q&A. That way, it's happened before, someone who has a 6-minute long question won't get a chance until the end. You know what I mean? So that way we can sort of get through a lot and get through the fun and get to the next bit.
Yeah. And
Sound
if
good?
you want, you can ask, if you're too shy or driving or something like that, you can either private message me or put a question in the chat.
Yep.
And I also, a couple of people emailed me, so I wrote it down those questions as well, so.
Great.
Perfect.
And we'll be looking at the chat too, and we can
Yeah.
even answer it.
Yeah, we'll try to keep an eye on it
Cool.
as much as possible.
But the main thing I want to say, the number one thing I want to say before anything is we're going to give you a bunch of tips of things to find in Paris that I assume no one here has been to all of the 5 things that we've
Well,
got.
hopefully not, because
I'd be surprised.
well, it's gold
I
medal
don't
to
even
you
know
then.
if you've been to all of them. No, I'm just kidding. But this is the important bit, is I've written down all the addresses. I've written how to find them, the names of them, the spelling. I've written it all down on a web page, and I'll send it to you at the end. I'm not going to send it to you now, otherwise you just look through the list and you know what's coming. That's pretty boring. But while we're talking, I'll share pictures while we're talking, and then you've got the list at the end. And it's got everything, how to find us online, all
Easy
that.
links and
Easy. So
you
that
know
cuts
the drill.
out all the boring questions too. But should we get into it?
Let's
And I'll
start.
make sure that you guys all get that, because I have your emails, and so I'll send the recording and that list out to everybody, so.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
Shall we do our presentation? It feels like we're back in school again.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's just go for it. Let's start.
Okay, before we get into the first one, I think what could be fun is I introduce you and you introduce me.
Okay.
But
Ooh.
first, just by a show of hands, how many of you guys already sort of, and maybe before Julia even met you, how many of you guys know who we are? Like, how many of you are in this world? Wave if you're in the world.
Ooh,
You had a few fans.
great.
Oh, this is perfect. Oh, I
Perfect.
love, no one's heard my jokes. This is amazing. It's all new for all of us.
Woo! Old material become new material.
I will introduce Lina to you first. Lina is a Swedish woman from the city of Stockholm. She's been living here since 2015. She makes handbags and shoes in Paris. Like, she designs and gets them made. And they've been in big gallery department stores like Printemps, you might say. She is an illustrator. She's an artist, watercolors. And most recently, she's teamed up with me to do a children's book. That's you.
Look at that, Tiffany.
Yeah.
I have one of her.
Oh, that's so
watercolors
great,
in the
Tiffany.
office.
So
Yay,
Tiffany
Tiffany.
knows about those. Okay.
And Tessa Tatango is asking what handbag brand, because she used to manage her brother's handbag line. So she was in the accessories world for a long time.
Oh,
That's why
exciting.
Tessa's asking.
Okay.
I will link to it while you introduce me.
Okay, so thank you.
Just the good stuff.
Just the good stuff. So thank you for the very, very flattering introduction. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Oliver Gee. He is an Australian podcaster in Paris and have been here for the same amount of years that I have.
Suspicious.
He might be the most curious person in Paris. That's what I like to think. He just cannot see if someone like exit their Parisian building, he just have to be like running up and like looking inside, and you're always just like finding things. I don't know why, and you just keep this curiosity, which is great because there's always a story with this guy. So yeah. And you are also a writer, of course. I almost forgot. Written 2 books. The first one is your memoir called Paris on Air. And the second one we wrote together. Well, you wrote it and I illustrated it. It's a children's book about a crocodile in Paris. And it's based on a true story, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
you know who we are, and so you don't think we're just 2 of those lame, boring bloggers in Paris who take pictures of the Eiffel Tower only.
I mean, we do that too, but
we mostly do that, but there's a depth to it as well. It's, in other words, we've got the creds to pull off 5 cool secrets and the storytelling chops to make them fun. Considering
I didn't just pick you guys like out of the blue for random reasons.
I was just interested. I did that because I wanted to hear how Lina would introduce you.
yeah, I know. You're putting me on the spot here.
But yeah, that's who we are and what we do, and we're very fortunate to have made it into 2 careers, and that's us. That's literally our jobs.
Yeah.
And so taking opportunities like this is fun for us because we get to meet new people, and we're excited to be here, and we're happy to share secrets. And I think we'll get into it because they came for romance and not for our boring story.
Your story is part of the romantic bit.
That's true. That's the beginning to my book is a proposal scene, so there's got to be something. Anyway, romantic. Here we go.
All
5
right.
romantic places, the stories behind them, and how you can find them too.
Okay, that's
What makes something romantic, Lina?
that old question. Well, I mean, it depends. It's all about the company. You know, anything can be romantic with the right company. But here is a list of our 5 favorites that we can recommend, and that we hope that no one's hopefully heard of all of them.
I'd like to add that even if you're single, you could enjoy these places. No romance doesn't have to necessarily be shared.
Or with
right?
a friend,
Or with
you know,
an
it's
enemy.
just
An enemy would enjoy it.
a dog.
These the other thing I think we should add that made these places romantic is that there's an element to all of them of kind of, I don't think secret is the right word, but kind of hidden off the beaten track. One of the things that makes Paris less romantic is that a lot of people know that if you stand on the Pont des Arts and look at the Eiffel Tower, there's going to
massive
be
hordes of people and big queues and that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you were to propose to your fiance on one of those bridges, there might be someone doing it next to you. So these places all have an element of, I say that, I proposed to Lina on a bridge.
I think you panicked, you couldn't keep it in anymore.
So
I mean, the locks of love like are maddening because I mean it's a thing.
That's true. So look, we're getting to the first one, and I'm just going to see which one we put the first one. Ah, yes, this is nice.
Okay, should I read it?
No, we won't read it, but we've got the blog link that we're going to share with you later.
Okay.
We're going to tell it, I think.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about a hidden little island in one of the parks in Paris? Somewhere where you have to take a little boat or a ferry.
Wendy is so into this one. Before we even got to, okay.
Okay, so that's like setting the scene.
Yeah, and when I say the lungs of Paris, it's the city's flanked on both sides by 2 huge parks, woods you could call them. In French, they're called woods, bois. To the east, it's Bois de Vincennes, which we're not going to be talking about, although it's very romantic as well. To the west is Bois de Boulogne. And this is also, like, it has a reputation because in the middle of the night, all sorts of things go on there that we can get into.
I mean, Central Park is not, you know,
Is it the same in
den
Central
of innocence.
Oh,
So.
okay.
Where is everybody, by the way? You're
All over. So I'm in North Carolina, but just looking, I see New Jersey, I see Texas, I know California,
Amazing.
some North Carolinians, DC. So we're from all over.
Amazing. Okay, so Bois de Boulogne is, forget the night, in the day, it's beautiful. And there's something that Lina particularly likes to do is visit an island there. Maybe you talk about what the romantic part is.
So sometimes we like to pack a little picnic basket, and we have actually taken bicycles or our little red scooter, and we go out to this park and we sit and have a nice picnic. And then as the sun is sort of setting, you can take a ferry for €2 over. It's just like, it takes like a minute.
Can I interrupt you for the more romantic way to get there first?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's an even more romantic way.
Yeah, because then we get to the picture that I showed. The more romantic way, if you're feeling adventurous,
really adventurous.
For €25 cash, they only take cash, which means they're obviously not declaring their income. There are rowboats to the side on this little lake. Really beautiful, picturesque lake. With 2 people, one person, you could do it. You jump in and you can head to the island yourself. There's 2 islands there. You could do it yourself. It's super nice.
It is really nice.
It's super funny too if you're ever there to watch how many people row backwards. It might be the same in Central Park.
Or just like around in a circle.
There's so many.
It's a harder skill than you would think to be able to row.
But like a boat has the front goes that way, pierce through the water, and the back is flat. And there's so many people that have the flat, and they go, you know, they're sweating. Come on, darling, we'll get there eventually. And you want to say, turn it. Yeah. Anyway, so you can do that. You get it for, I think it's like 90 minutes, €25. I've done it before. We once did a video out there. We took the live video camera, which is what I do a lot, and we filmed exactly what goes on. That was a really fun day, by the way. Really, but the other way, and I'm going to get the picture up. So what you're about to see is what Lina's describing as you approach on this 40-second €2 ferry. Yeah. It is the shortest ferry ride probably on Earth.
It's tiny, but it's definitely worth it. And you kind of get that like, ooh, I'm out at Mars at sea. Well, not quite, but almost.
In the middle of Paris.
You're approaching this cute little chalet,
Aw.
little cottage, and that's where the restaurant is and the bar, and you can just sit there and have a lovely cocktail or share a bottle of wine, some snacks.
It's called
and
I think it's called Le
great.
Chalet des Îles or something.
Chalet
We've got
des
it written
Îles,
down.
yeah, I
Don't bother taking notes.
Mhm.
The name's the boring bit. And there in the summer, like if everyone can, I think everyone can see the picture we've shared, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the length of the ferry ride. Like you get on where that park bench is. It goes over super
You
quick.
could probably throw a tennis ball
Yeah.
over there. It's not far.
But then you get over there, and it's surprisingly private and
Yeah.
romantic. I think because a lot of the people can't be bothered taking the ferry or
I think so.
jumping over there. But it's got history too. Like the
Mm.
social elite in Napoleon III's time used to hang out over there. Today, I don't think it's. I mean, it's kind of probably some kind of social elite.
I'd say so, but it's not reserved to anyone.
Yeah,
It's-
sure.
It's open to
But it's not
anyone
easy to
who-
get to either. Like, there's not a metro station right there. So
Yeah.
if you've got as far as that lake, you've kind of earned having it to yourself.
Exactly,
because
and you
it's-
have to walk a little bit into the park as well. So yeah, it feels quite special and a little bit hidden, and it just feels romantic to me.
So just
That's
awesome.
out of pure curiosity, we started with a kind of easy one that you maybe heard about. Wave at us furiously if you've been to that island. Is there anyone?
No, great.
Even
Oh,
I've been to the Bois de Boulogne, which is wonderful, and Fondation Louis Vuitton, which is a really
Mhm.
cool art museum, is out there too. But this seems much more secluded and charming and private.
And I think
Yeah.
that's part of it. Like when I sometimes meet people or I talk on the podcast about Paris, I'm really fascinated with parts of Paris that don't feel like Paris. Emo wants to know what it's called.
Palais des Îles, maybe?
Yeah, I've
Shall
got
I
it all
see?
written. I've got it. That's not. I'm not.
We'll
gonna,
send it to you afterwards.
Everything is written down for you. We've done it all.
Yeah.
With links to find it. Anyway, see, it throws me
Amazing.
off. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm fascinated by
Like,
places
yeah.
that don't feel like Paris. Like I love Paris. I'm obsessed with it. But there's something cool when you walk into a hidden garden or you take a boat across and you feel like you could be anywhere in the world in a sort of oasis of this busy city. And I think that's that seclusion that you mentioned there, Julia, is what makes it romantic, especially. I think.
Yeah, and something that is not so public. It just feels more private in a way. It's like your
Yeah.
own-
Just
own
you and
book.
your lover.
Yes,
Mm,
exactly.
Especially when you're on the rowboats too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that sounds really cute.
And Elizabeth is right. The Bois de Vincennes on the other side of town is lovely, and you
It
can
is
take
really nice
rowboats
too.
there, and it's equally as beautiful. But there's no little island. I don't think
No island with a bar, at least.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if it's
The
already,
bar helps.
we probably
Exactly.
talked long enough about that. We don't want to run out of time. So we get on to the next one, I think. And everyone's collective score is 0 out of 5. So what I really
It's
like
great
to see.
for us.
Yeah. Well, it's experts are
I
weird.
know, that would be terrible. It would be like, I recommend the Eiffel Tower.
I know.
No.
Gosh. Okay. The
Okay.
next one is a fun one too. And it's fun because it's very hidden. In fact, it's probably the most hidden thing on this list. So we used to live in Montmartre, and I'm still admitting people, Julia, by the way.
Oh, goodness.
Well,
I'm mesmerized by your stories.
It's good.
And those guys who are new, we were just saying before, we like seeing faces because it lets us know when people are reacting to what we're saying.
Yeah, it's more interactive.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Like
if you feel like it.
Wendy's the
great.
current MVP for her.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where are we up to? Yes, so we lived in Montmartre for the last 2 years. In fact, it's so fun that no one knows any of our story.
Yes.
Like we lived here for 6 years, but the last 2 were in Montmartre, and we had a little chambre de bonne.
Very
little
romantic.
Maids quarters on the top floor, looking over Paris, the view of the
Mm.
Eiffel Tower, everything. It was just totally stunning, but too small now that we've got a little one on the way. So that's why we're moving. That's the backstory. But when we're in Montmartre for those 2 years, and I don't know if everyone here is Paris fans or not, but that's like the old school Paris.
The
Cobblestone,
the little
hills.
staircases
The hill-
leading up to you don't even know where.
Or stairs that go forever that you're like, oh God.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
in fact, I got a fun way to tell this that I hadn't planned, but it's a neat story. Is when we moved into our place, it turned out that the bar that was downstairs used our cave. It's called like
Cellar?
cellar. Used our
Yes.
cellar to store all their
Basement?
drinks. And when we met them on the first day, they go, look. No, the landlord said before we moved in, she said, you have a choice. You either can take back the cellar from the bar and use it for yourself, or you can have the deal that I've had for the past 5 years and have free drinks
Whenever
you want. And we're like, we'll take
We're
the free
like,
drinks. Thank you very much.
I mean, no brainer.
Yeah.
So the first night, it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it's not. The first night we went in and we met the guy. He was lovely. And there's a whole story to it that I'm not going to get into now, but it is in my book. But it's very funny. And at the end of it, we said, can you recommend some bars around and some places for brunch and restaurants? And he said, I'm going to tell you my top Montmartre secret, but you can't tell anyone. Whoops.
And here we are.
He said that there is a hotel that's very particular, and that's a clue about the name of it. And he said you can only access it by ringing a buzzer that's very well hidden. And in it, they have some of the best food and brunch and cocktails that you'll find in the city of Paris.
It is a tiny hotel. I think it's only got like a handful of rooms.
It's like a boutique hotel,
Yeah.
right? And it is called the Hôtel Particulier, which is like the particular hotel, I suppose.
Yeah.
And to find it, you got to go to this beautiful avenue. You know it's called. I've written this for you guys. Don't worry. You go down halfway, and there's this sort of gate with a buzzer, and you ring the buzzer. And if you don't have a reservation at the place, you're going to be in trouble, and you have to fake it like I do, and you have to say something in French to convince them to let you in. I'll leave that to your imagination, but I would recommend that you reserve a table and say, bonjour, j'ai une réservation pour whatever, for your name. The gate opens, you walk through this beautiful little alleyway, like...
it is like a little wonderland. It's great. It feels like you step into a different century as well. It's just like these white, we can share a picture maybe?
I'm going to share a picture of the place.
Yeah.
We've got the interior, but we've got exterior in the blog. We'll show you later.
It's just beautiful.
But you walk, so my tip, you walk straight down that alley, and because it's Montmartre, everything is really high up. Get to the edge of the alley before the steps go down again. Look out, and you can see the Eiffel Tower through the buildings. It's just really over the chimney tops. Totally beautiful. Backtrack.
I love those secret views, either of the Eiffel Tower or the Sacré-Cœur, when you're just walking and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like just surprise view.
Yeah.
And then go into the hotel and get your reservation checked in or whatever. And it's just super charming. It's the kind of place where you can imagine, I don't know, they'd interview a celebrity for a TV show or something.
It feels like you step into like a jewelry box. Everything is like powder pink, velvet with fringes and big mirrors on the wall.
No need to explain. I got a picture.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, how cute is that?
Yeah, that's the inside.
So that's where we had brunch a couple of times. It's not a cheap brunch, but it's not expensive. It's not like the best place in New York or something like that.
But it's several courses and you get
Very
so
French.
well treated and it's just lovely.
They're like, you
my
found
God.
us?
Yeah. Like, wow, how did you hear of us?
Oh my God, that is
it's-
super cute.
And it's because you can see out the window there's all the trees. They've got their own garden. It's extremely private, and the celebrities. Whenever I've been in there, I always try and wheedle information out about which celebrities have been there, and they never tell you. But I heard that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie were there a couple of years before they split,
they
obviously.
stayed there.
And all the French celebrities there. So there's a kind of cool little vibe in there, especially with privacy, and it's residential, so it's off the beaten track already, but then it's hidden in the garden. And it's called the Hôtel Particulier, linked below. No, in the blog that I'm going to share. Who has been there? Give me a wave.
Oh God, if someone's been there, I'll be impressed. I'm seeing lots of no's.
Let's make it more positive. Who liked that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who wants to go?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Joan, I bet you, I mean, it is possible to get a reservation because they
Yep.
did it.
Yes.
It's
yes.
easily possible, especially now, they're probably closed right now. But in normal times, brunch is way easier because the dinner's obviously more popular.
Yeah, and also there's not a lot of space.
But
so-
having said that, the first time we went there for brunch, we just walked in there on a Sunday.
So you can
Remember
get
that was a Sunday and it was empty because so many
and
people
it was
don't know
brunch
about it.
hour.
And we talked to other people in Montmartre who know about it, and no one, like, it's really well hidden. It's
Wow.
super well.
It's
I don't
surprising.
know how they stay in business.
I don't know. They must money launder.
Money laundering. They're working with the guys with the rowboats at the Bois de Boulogne.
Yeah,
probably.
that's it.
Cash jobs. Okay, let's get on to the next secret. No, they're not secrets. They're romantic things that are secrets.
They're secrets so far to us. So
Well, this one might be a bit more. This is more likely that someone's done it. It's this. I've called it here the swan walk that everyone misses. The swan walk that everyone misses. So I bet
I
everyone.
saw you guys talk about this on your stories. I like this one. I have not done it though.
A lot of people, when they go to the Eiffel Tower, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, Lee Lennon loves it so much, it's her background there.
Hey, I've got one in my house.
Oh, yeah, you do too.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with going directly there and checking it out, and you should. You should climb it, and you should have fun, and you should find it from distance. But one thing that everyone misses, if everyone can see Lee Lennon's page, actually, it's very easy for me to point out what I'm going to talk about. No, lean the other way. Lean the other
Lean
way.
the other way, Lee.
Yeah. So over her left shoulder, so to the right, there you can see a bridge. That's the starting point for where I want you guys to go next time you're in Paris. And at that bridge, so imagine you're standing right by the tower and you turn around as if to cross the bridge. I want you to imagine walking down the steps to the left. So you're walking away to the right-hand side of Lee's picture there. That is where you begin a very, very fantastic walk. And we spent, it's so funny that no one knows our stories. Just to pause why this is funny for me is because usually I do talks for people who listen to my podcast and watch my videos, and everyone knows the story.
Yeah, so you have to like really try
So
to be entertaining and come
but-
up with new stuff.
But you don't know the story of when the lockdown finished. We were in confinement in our Montmartre apartment, which was 300 something square feet, tiny. And
their confinement, by the way, you guys, our confinements we haven't really had one in the US. Like in Paris, they literally could leave the house for an hour if they had a permission sleep.
It was
So like
really
that's different than maybe everywhere except for New York that I know of.
Right. Okay. So then imagine that lockdown in a tiny little place with two people
2 months.
for 57 days it was.
Yeah.
And then when it ended, and we were the self-confessed most positive people during the lockdown. We did pub quizzes where we wrote quiz questions, and every Saturday night we did YouTube live videos like this. It kind of reminds me of it.
It does.
And we were just like, look, we're in lockdown, but let's have some
Try
fun.
to have as fun as possible and be
Everything-
creative.
Everything grew a lot during that
Yeah, it did.
period because we had nothing to do. Anyway, at the end of it, because there were no tourists in Paris, we got an email from a friend of mine, this woman who I had interviewed for the podcast before, who works with luxury apartment rentals. And she said, sorry, I lost my voice. When I get excited about Paris.
I think you're talking about Lina from Paris Perfect.
Yeah, Leah Walker,
yeah.
So
See, this is my problem is I follow like everyone in Paris, all the expats in Paris, and they all know each other. And so I feel like the next time I go to Paris, I'm just gonna be like, hi friends.
Amazing.
I love that.
So she's really lovely, and she messaged us and she said, look, there are no tourists in Paris at the moment, unfortunately, but that means that all our luxury apartments are empty. If you want to change the scene, why don't you come and live in one for like a week, I think she said.
And we're like, yes, that's a no-brainer.
We jumped on our scooter and we were there in like 4 minutes. And then there was no deal or anything, but it was more like if you, she was like, don't hesitate to share it. It was in the 7th arrondissement. It was about where Lee Lennon's right ear is where we were staying. It was right next to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And every day we explored and we shared the heck out of it. And that week that we stayed in this luxury apartment turned into 2 months. So we became experts on the 7th arrondissement. And that is how we get to this walk, because we discovered it one day, is if you go down those steps and continue along, you get to a really narrow path by the river. And what's really cool about it is you walk through all the peniche, the boats that are moored there, And it's like you're going back in time. It's like Paris from 100 years ago.
Yeah, again, with going back in time, and it feels like a different world. It's
Mm.
just like, it's right there. Like all the tourists are up by the Eiffel Tower, and then you go down there, and it's just suddenly so many
And
people.
I've been to the Eiffel Tower 200 times before and never found this walk. And I know that most people don't know about it, but you continue along, and to your right is this man-made island. You wouldn't maybe know it was man-made, but that's how it differs from the one that we're sitting on now, either side of the way. But you cross over to this island. It's quite long, and I've got a picture of it here. I'll share the picture. And very treey and beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's called the Island of the Swans. Here's what it looks like. When I share it, I can't see it. There it is. Okay, so you get into this middle of this really, verdant, green, beautiful walk. And as you walk in the direction that we took this picture, you're getting closer to the Eiffel Tower, because you're heading back to where you started. And you can start seeing it poking through the trees. And it's just,
Amazing.
it's stunning. And the thing that's really cool about it is on the western end, there's a Statue of Liberty that was gifted back to France from America. And she's facing New York City. And
I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's cool.
So the big river cruise boats, not like the little Seine boats that go back and forth, but like Uniworld, AMA Waterways, those kinds of boats, they dock just down the river, just a little bit from this. So like, if you are doing a river cruise and, you get to the boat and you have time, this is a perfect little way to walk around and get some fresh air and welcome to Paris.
And again, like a different kind of surprise view of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And there might be some
And that's the other thing about the Eiffel Tower that people don't understand. I was on some group and people were talking about like, how can you get away from the crowds at the Eiffel Tower? And I'm like, go around the corner. I mean, like everyone's under it, but like as soon as you like sort of leave the immediate area, it's super quiet.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
And it's one of those sort of hidden in plain sight secrets, I think. And the only people that I think really go there are the people that live in the 15th arrondissement and the 16th on either side of it. Because like I said, I'd lived here. My job is sharing Paris.
And finding
5
cool
years,
stuff.
I'd never even seen it really.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. And for you guys thinking, could there really be a Statue of Liberty in Paris? There are 8 Statue of Liberties around Paris. And I know no one here has seen them all because almost no one in the world knows that there are 8. I did a blog about it. I'll share that as well.
When you did that blog, I was like, I knew about like 2 of them.
Yeah.
8 of them.
Crazy. Okay, 2 more romantic places. How's the vibe going? Some people look like they're losing interest. Do we have to reel you back in? How do we reel you back in?
Have a sip of that wine or that pretend wine.
Yes, the pretend wine. Cheers.
Yeah.
Maybe some people just aren't smiley people when it comes to our
Oh
stuff.
no, that's
Let's-
It is early in the morning in California,
Oh,
some
yeah.
people
I'm
aren't
not
like
one person.
No,
rocking
no,
and rolling.
no. I'm just teasing. Elizabeth says you can
This
go
is
to the
true.
Montparnasse Tower, and she's exactly right. I'm glad that you said that because it is the exact kind of tip that you can read on the internet. Not as good as the tip we're about to get you.
Yeah, we're about to reveal something.
I will say the restaurant at the top of the Montparnasse Tower, the Ciel de Paris, is pretty good. And you have a really nice view.
The problem is there are other people there,
Yes,
and that
many.
ruins it.
Yes.
The one that I think is our next one, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We found in a really cool way is that when we were staying in the 7th, I saw a sort of normal-looking city hotel near the Eiffel Tower, and out of pure curiosity, I used to work in hotels when I was sort of traveling around the world. I was like, I wonder if they're giving really cheap rooms at the moment because of the pandemic. So we walked in with no intention of actually booking a room, more just
Out of
like Lina
interest.
said at the start, I always go into buildings and ask
Curious
questions.
guy.
Yeah. So we went in, I was like,
It's
what's
a great
your...
way to travel.
Yeah.
I said, what's your occupancy at the moment? He said it was like 5%. And I said, yeah, are you doing, cheaper deals on the rooms?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. And he said sort of like 10% off or something. And I was like, forget it. We've got a
Right.
lucky apartment around the corner, but it's good to know. And then he said, but you're free to go up and check out it's not a rooftop terrace, but it's top floor. It's not I don't know how you call it.
It's-
the top floor
Yeah,
panoramic room, sort of.
yeah.
And I was like, what? The top for what? And he goes, up on the top floor. Have you not heard about it? And I was like, no. Is this a thing? This must be the best view in the city. And he goes, yeah, go check it out. And I looked around, there's no signs for it. Once again,
so hidden.
I've been in Paris 6 years, I'd never heard of it. We go up there and you get out the elevator and you walk towards the restaurant, which faces the Eiffel Tower.
You walk through like kind of a boring corridor.
Typical hotel,
but walk
right?
towards the light.
And then the light is right because the ceiling is made of glass. And because of that, you can take in the view of the Eiffel Tower in its entirety, because it doesn't matter if you have ceiling high windows, when you're that close, it's too big. So you walk ceiling high windows, but glass ceiling as well. And the Eiffel Tower almost attacks you and it's right there. And we went in there and it was empty.
Yeah.
It was empty.
It's so weird.
So we bought a bottle of wine and we sat on the balcony. Like it felt like if you reached down, you could scrape the paint off the Eiffel Tower. I'll show you a picture so you believe me.
And the outside bit is the best because it's quite a slim sort of balcony that you sit on. So you don't really sit next to people. You just sit on like separate tables.
Oh my God, look at that.
Really great.
That picture I feel like it doesn't do it justice. Is that our picture?
Yeah, I took that picture.
Okay.
Well, you're clearly on the balcony and it's right like next to you.
Yeah.
You're rubbing shoulders with Madame the Fifth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
No,
it
it's
really is.
beautiful.
And you can see how high it is, because usually the house main buildings, like the two that you see in front of it, they're all 6-7 floors. And this building is like 10. So you're above the whole city. And we went up there and we took all these pictures and we shared them. And I got all these comments on Instagram from all these friends and like influencers in Paris.
People are like, where is that?
Yeah.
What is that? And you can see it's not even just the Eiffel Tower do you see, but it's like the whole skyline. It's just spectacular. You see, it's just great.
And
And that's a restaurant and a hotel in the summer?
Yeah, there's a restaurant on top, but like a cocktail bar as well. So we shared a bottle of wine,
And I see Brittany's asking for the name of the building.
Yeah, I'm
As a way-
writing it
as
in the
a way
chat.
I'm not even going to say it. And that way I know that you go and check, because we put a lot of effort into this blog post with pictures. But the name of the hotel, I'm not going to tell you.
It will all be in the document that we send out.
Will it be?
Afterwards.
Okay, look, we're going to get
It's a
onto
neat little document.
We're going to get onto the last one because we want to end with a Q&A. Maybe you guys have questions for us, and that's always fun. So the last place on the list is, I can't remember.
We
just did.
This is a cute one. So when we did live up in Montmartre, that's in the 18th arrondissement. So just below it is the Pigalle, the slightly like younger, hipper area, with lots of bars and restaurants, and like that's where the music scene is sort of based.
It was the Moulin Rouge, and then it was sort of the heart of the jazz area.
It's quite touristy up, like towards the old Montmartre, but down towards the 90s, not so much. So when we walked around and explored the streets, we just happened to stumble upon this entrance that was flanked by these two big trees, and it looked really interesting. And again, Oliver had to have a look.
Yeah, you
So-
wouldn't know.
It doesn't really like shout, come in, like
No.
here's a museum. There are no signs really.
There are a lot
It's
of
very,
little
like,
museums in
petite.
Paris that everyone knows: the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, the famous ones. There are maybe hundreds of small ones that are sometimes especially fascinating.
Really hard.
This museum wasn't especially fascinating. It's called the Musée de la Vie Romantique, the romantic
Yes.
life, the museum of
Fitting.
Hitting the theme, yeah.
romance paintings. But it's not about the museum that we care right now. We care
Okay.
more about the hidden garden cafe to the side.
The little tea garden.
So you go in there. It's talking about always being empty. We've been here 5-6 times maybe, and it always looks like this screen that I'm about to share with you. You ready? Is it that one? No, it is that one.
There you
Share. Do you see this? Yeah? Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Beautiful.
cool. Yeah. So that's the museum in the back with the windows. And this you can't even nearly see from the road. In fact, you need to go through a security, beep, 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 check, metal detector just to get to this. And I think
Oh, we have a winner. We have a winner. Someone's been there.
Oh, who's
Cindy has
been
been there.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh, Cindy. In fact, when I invited her to this, or when she saw the invitation, she wrote back, her comment was, I have to go back to Paris, like all
Oh.
caps, like she's dying to get back there too. So
Where is this? Where is this so-called Cindy? I want-
Cindy Dykeman, where are you? Unmute yourself, Cindy, and say hi so you show up.
I'm muted.
Oh,
I'm
there you are. You were right in front of me. I couldn't see you.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there.
So, what did you think of it? Did you like it?
I liked it. It was a long time ago. I want to say it was probably the year 2000 that I was there.
Oh, okay.
Because I'd already been to Paris probably 4 or 5 times. So I was looking for different things to do. And we went there, and you're right. I think we walked through the house or the museum, and it was fine. It was a beautiful old house, but it was the garden that was so nice.
Yeah.
There you go. That means we've got Cindy's endorsement.
Good. I
Finally,
feel good
so-
about that.
So, well, that's really great. I'm glad you've been there, Cindy.
Yeah.
And we can sort of finish on it by saying that while it's empty, quiet, and beautiful, you want to go there for the ambience and definitely not the hot chocolate, which was disgusting.
Not. No.
Oh dear.
Go for a nice juice or a tea or
Yeah,
something.
anything else. We've had a lot of
Just
stuff
Keep
there.
it simple.
Do a favor to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't have the hot chocolate. It was lumpy and revolting.
Yeah.
But you're not there for that. If you're there and you say it's lumpy and revolting, you're getting it wrong. The
Yeah.
idea is that it's this little another
It's like a
oasis
little
of calm.
dreamy escape. Yeah.
And it's
It
just
sounds like it would be a wonderful place, like after you've walked around Montmartre in the morning, to stop and have a break or a lunch or something.
Exactly that. Yeah.
In fact, there's it's similar to in the Museum of Montmartre, the Musée de Montmartre, which is up on the hill. There's another nice garden, but it's a lot more popular. But it's similar kind of vibe. So I'd recommend that too as a little aside. That could have made the list. That's the 6th thing.
That's what when you told me, like, let's do 5 top romantic spots, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to limit you to 5. I feel like there could be more. We can.
I
pull
just
more
know
out
that
of it.
once we get started talking, that we maybe won't finish. So we want to keep we want to try and finish
Good
it
to keep us in check.
at 9.
I know, and like Joan just asked about day trips from Paris, and I'm like, oof, we might have to have them back because there's so many options for day trips in Paris.
Yeah. So, wow, 50 people made it into the room.
know.
So I'll sort of end by summarizing and introducing ourselves again if you came in halfway. That's me and Lena. We're almost as small as you can get for a small business in Paris.
Mhm.
And it's just the 2 of us.
Yeah. Family business.
But we make a living by sharing Paris and writing books and
Painting and
painting.
you know.
So we want to share our Paris with you, and the hope is that you guys, at the very least, will go, we like these guys. We'll follow them on social media and see what they get up to next. But for the next 15 minutes, we're here to answer any questions.
Yeah.
And hopefully one of them will be from someone saying, tell us more about your new books.
Very smooth. Yeah.
Oh,
But-
that's a good one from Martha. She's asking, since the hot chocolate at the last museum was so terrible, where is your favorite hot chocolate in Paris?
Oh, favorite is hard.
I know, there's so many good ones.
Maybe the most famous one is the Angelina one.
Yeah.
They're
I
very
don't know if
thick
that's
and
my
rich,
favorite, though.
but it's not really my favorite. And I was just having, actually today I had a really good one. I had a hot chocolate made from oat milk as well, and it was from the Peloton cafe that is just like a 10-minute walk from where we are on Ile de
Saint
where
Louis?
are we? Saint Louis. And it's on so it's like just by the Seine.
Okay, all
Really good
right.
one.
So Peloton Cafe. Oh, I can write
Yeah,
that
it's
in.
a good one. Otherwise,
And that's owned by another expat, right? Isn't she American?
The Peloton, it's an American and a Kiwi.
Yeah.
And at the moment for us in Paris and for the past year, we haven't been able to sit in cafes. So it's more about the location of the cafe, which like that one is by the Seine. So you go grab it and you walk along the Seine, which is flooding, and take lovely pictures.
and there's lovely people,
Oh,
like
super
so
friendly.
friendly. It's it's a very family vibe.
Lisa Van Bueller says, oh, we're dying to hear about your book. Oh, it's almost like I put the words in your mouth. Here's what I'll do, is I'll do 1 minute on my book, and then you
Yeah,
do
show
2
them. They're
minutes.
super cute.
Yeah, okay, because I hate the idea of like feeling, what's that thing in America you have with the, what's that called? The sales channel or whatever?
Oh, QVC.
QVC. I don't want to be that guy, but we can consider it a fun minute. Here we go. You ready?
Oh, taking.
Okay, so I'm very proud of this. Paris on Air. It's the story of my 5 years in Paris. And you might be thinking, who are you to write a book about yourself? You're nobody. Well, I'll tell you.
Everyone's somebody.
Yeah, that's nice. But I like telling stories. And this is the story of coming to Paris. Hang on. This is the story of a fresh voice on the Paris scene, crushing highs. No, it's the story of sort of learning French, learning how the country works, trying to make a job for myself, and against all odds, succeeding. And so it sort of tells the story. It's meant to be funny and light, full of like, those kind of stories of, making mistakes in French and learning from them. If you enjoyed the way I've talked over the past 40 minutes, I think you'll like the book. And it starts with my proposal to Lina on the Pont du Carrousel, on the way to the Ritz, which I'd love to read, but we don't have time. But I'll leave it in the words of...
And we can get it in the US, right?
That's what I wanted to say too. If you do want to buy it or the other one, the difference between you buying it from me, I've got stock in Seattle and Chicago, and buying it from something like Amazon, it's like 20 times better if you get it from me. Don't get it from Amazon. They pay hardly anything in commission, and they print it on demand. So they take everything. I know Americans quite like Amazon, but in this case, I ask you to make the exception.
And the link is in the document that I will be sharing after, so don't.
I might send the document now in the chat while.
Sure, yeah, you can do that.
Kylie.
If you want to go ahead and click it.
Okay, save this.
Yeah, people have in the States, we've learned sort of the evils of Amazon, because everyone went crazy at the beginning of pandemic. And then I think we all realized, like, especially for books and art and things like that, it's better to book.
Well, I'll be totally 100% honest with you guys with how it works. Is with that book, if you buy it off Amazon, I get something like 90 cents. And if you buy it from my stock in Chicago, which I've already printed, I get something like around $10.
And you pay the same price.
It could have, yeah. It's ridiculous.
So
it's not even, anyway, and plus geez.
Get him started, okay.
No, let me say why I made a big deal about it. It's because when I self-published it in the early days, same with this one, when we were really small and no one was following us, and someone messaged me, I bought your book off Amazon. I was like, oh no, I need dinner tonight, don't buy off Amazon. And it still kind of resonates with me today. Anyway, your minute, go for it.
Okay, my minute starts with a little mini presentation of our children's book, Kylie the Crocodile in Paris. And this is a snappy tale.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a pre-written joke if I've ever heard of it.
Of this crocodile that apparently was let out into the Canal Saint-Martin by this old lady who admitted it to Oliver on his podcast just randomly. So that's how the story is. Yeah, French lady, and it's just such a great story. It's a true story.
It's probably the most popular podcast episode I've ever done. In the middle of it, she said, I released 2 crocodiles in the canal. And I started chasing that story.
Exactly.
Then, I don't know if we said Lina illustrated
So
this.
I illustrated it. Oliver wrote the rhyming words, and it's sort of, can you see?
Okay, a little bit.
What if you do it like on an angle like that?
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
So that's the bit about
Super
where
cute.
She takes.
And Lina is so talented. If you follow her on her stories, she like does time lapses of her drawing things. And I mean, I can't draw or paint to save my life. And so I sit there and watch those, and I'm just amazed at how beautiful your things are.
Oh, you're very sweet.
She is Parisian Postcards.
Yeah. Oh, it's all linked in the blog. Everything.
I know, but everyone's asking, so I'm just filling in where I can.
All right. Sorry. So that book is we just released it like what, 2 months ago or something like that?
Just in time for Christmas,
Just
right?
before Christmas.
That's right.
And we're so excited, and we almost sold out our stock, and it's great.
And it was so good. You're doing a new one, right?
Yes.
We're doing 2 new ones. I'm writing a follow-up to the Paris on Air.
Yeah.
And we're both doing a follow-up to Kylie, but it's not about a crocodile. But I
Oh,
just want to say on that, and then we'll do totally other questions after that. But on that link that we shared you, it shows a link where you can buy the book or the other book, or together as a
little bundle.
As a little bundle, and as a thank you for listening to us, I've done it at the cheaper price for what it's like, no postage if you pick it up in Paris. We'll send it from Chicago, but it's cheap. It's like 10 euros cheaper, which is just my way of saying thanks for listening. So if you do want to buy them, get them from that link I share you, because if you go on my website, it's more expensive. You can see.
So a little.
Okay, I might have been wrong. Jane asked while you were talking. She lives in Chicago and was wondering if she can go get it. But is it at a store there or?
It's good.
Maybe.
It's not at a store. It's at one of the listeners to my show who's helping me with the distribution. But he'll send it out.
Nice.
I don't know what you think if you showed up at his house. But,
I'll copy it and post it again.
Yeah, but get it on that one. If you go on my site and find it, it will cost you 10 euros more. Get it from that link that I sent you, theearfultower.com/romantic. And Joan says, the learning French bit reminds me of some of her favorite expats, including David Leibovitz. David Leibovitz, chef extraordinaire. Look at this.
Yes.
On the back of my book, he presents a different side of Paris with panache.
We love David.
He's
great.
David. He's a friend.
I follow him too, man.
He's the kind of person I have on the show. I've had him on a couple of times. He's
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get him, but I will try.
Jane asked, what is the website? It's
I already did all that. I want to quickly just make sure that some of the people that had asked questions, because there are some good things. So one of the things I always talk about and try and help my clients do is avoid crowds. But a couple of people wanted to know, when is the best time that it's not so super crowded? Is there one? And is there potentially a time where the weather is still nice enough to sit in cafes without tons of crowds in Paris?
I love Paris in September. For me, that's the perfect time of the year, and I'm very into fashion, of course. So it's just cold enough to be able to wear like little nice jackets, and it's always more fun to people watch, and it's just great. And then likewise, in like May is really nice. April, May is really, really lovely. And then if you really want kind of an empty Paris, go in August. But the downside is that a lot of things are closed.
Yeah,
because that's where everyone's
not everybody knows, but everybody in France takes vacation for either like the last 2 weeks in July or first 2 weeks in August. And so August is when like Paris is just empty. Like they close restaurants for 2 weeks, and I mean, it's vacation time. So bye, Autumn. Thank you for being here. Autumn's one of my fellow Parisian lovers.
Oh, bye, Autumn.
Yeah. Another question was, Erin, she had asked about some of your favorite romantic restaurants, but I think you already included some of those.
Also, the restaurants have been closed for a year, so we don't even really.
Yeah, we kind of out of it. We don't even know what's going to open again.
I know that. So I was talking with her because she's hoping to go this summer. So she's hoping that you guys have some sort of secret insider info on whether Americans will be allowed in this summer. Are you hearing any rumors?
We're so far from having.
Unfortunately.
A lot of people are asking us, and it's not even fair for us to comment on it because we got less idea than you guys probably.
Yeah, no, I know.
No one knows.
Well,
are vaccinations still going pretty slow in France, right?
Very slow.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. They're starting to get better, at least in North Carolina. I don't know about everywhere in the States, but in North Carolina, we're kind of chugging along. It's kind of encouraging.
Well, hopefully it happens sooner rather than later, because I know a lot of the sort of tour guides, restaurants, cafe owners are very eager to have people back in the city.
They're struggling.
Well, and we are eager to go there. So does anybody else have any other questions?
Yes, please.
We've got a few more minutes.
Yeah, we got
Paris Fashion Week going viral.
Viral is an unusual choice of words there.
Well, it's all online, so all the shows are online, and it's just like, but it's just so strange because I've worked for doing like Paris street style photography for a few seasons, and it's just, that's such a big part of it, and you know, the buzz around it and everything is just like, and it's obviously none of that because everyone's home in their pajamas, and it's just such a different vibe. But you know, it's nice to see that you can at least enjoy it online. Like everything.
I saw some clips of Chanel's show, and it was like with like the 3 or 4 actresses in the audience. It was
exactly.
It's a little strange.
Yeah, it's so odd.
Yeah.
I saw a comment before that asked about the podcast, and I'll do it in 10 seconds. It's every week, every single week, without fail. On Monday, I release a 30-minute conversation with one of the characters who makes the City of Light shine, whether it's a mayor, an ambassador, a tour guide, a TV presenter, or someone who's not like even remotely famous, like someone who's lived here for 60 years from New York City. And that's it. I've been doing it for 4 years now, and the New York Times called it one of the most transportive podcasts in the world. So don't listen to me, listen to them.
It's really good. Yeah.
Someone knows of your handbag brand.
Yeah, the Tessa that used to work in the accessories industry as well.
That's so cool.
Lovely.
Yeah, you guys are.
Guys, any questions? Ask us anything. Make me uncomfortable.
Oh, there's a good one. Where would you go enjoy sunrise?
How about the steps of the Sacré-Cœur and see the sunrise?
Oh, I've done that before.
You've done that.
I did a video once. I do live videos, which we don't have time to talk about, but I get a stabilizer camera, me and a guest. I call them walk shows. It's like talk shows while walking. And I interview someone, and I walked around at 6 a.m. in Montmartre once. The streets were all empty, and we just showed everything. It was amazing. It was so cool. So yeah, perfect answer. Sacré-Cœur.
Nice. And Marissa just asked a really interesting question. I'd love to have your comments. She's had people say that if you don't speak French, the locals are not as friendly. How do you guys respond to that?
I've got a good answer for this. I mean,
No.
Especially since you're expats, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know if you were fluent when you arrived.
I think put it like this. If you had a French person come to whatever city that you live in and only spoke French with you, I don't know if you speak French, Marissa, but the way that you react with them will probably be a less friendly version of yourself than if they were speaking English just by nature, because you're uncomfortable. You know, if they don't speak English, like I've got this theory that French people aren't rude, but it's a big misunderstanding. Like the other day, not the other day, it was a while back now, but I was at a coffee shop, and the waitress came up and she said, "I'm listening." And I was like, oh, that was so rude. And then I thought, in English, in French, you can very politely say, je vous écoute, I'm listening to you. And it's nice. It's a very polite thing to say. And I think she just translated it and said that. And I was thinking, if someone was a foreigner here who didn't speak French, they might go, well, she is so terribly rude. Yeah. So I think
misunderstanding.
And it's the same thing if like a French person came to New York City and went up and ordered in French. I bet that the waiter would come across rude to them as well.
But I think the best tip is to just make a tiny effort. You know, even if you don't speak any French, just go up and say, bonjour, do you speak English?
Yeah.
And that's enough. You know, just try.
Even if you say bonjour,
absolutely,
je parle anglais, pardon, that is 10 times better.
With a big smile.
It is. It's 10 times better than just starting in English.
Of course.
Excusez-moi. I mean, excusez-moi is really easy. So that's what I say too.
It's easy as that, and you should get great service.
And even if you feel like a total idiot speaking French, if you don't speak it, it's still worth it. And if everything goes wrong, you've got a good story.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think Anna's point is correct. They're just as we are, you know, horrified by our French skills, whether you speak French or not, you know, they are equally horrified about their own English skills.
I think
a lot of times.
And shy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I don't know how many times in a bar, you know, I've been trying to speak to a French person and I'm speaking in French because I like insist on practicing. And they're speaking in English because they're insisting on practicing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it really just sort of depends. Some people are like, I want to speak English. And some people are like, I really have.
Also, there's a strong argument for saying bonjour all the time. Just say it when you walk into every shop, even if it's unnecessary.
Bonjour.
Just to everyone, to the postman as he walks past, just say it. It feels crazy, but it's
nice.
It is nice.
It is.
Yeah.
I actually find the French when you give that little bit of bonjour, merci, you know, little effort. They're super warm and friendly and so wonderful. But
Yeah.
all right, well, I want to respect everyone's time. We're running up on the hour now, but so this has been so wonderful. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Thank you, Oliver and Lina, for sharing all these wonderful secrets and your charming selves with us for this evening for you guys. And yeah, I hope everyone had a great time, and I will be emailing you with the list in case you didn't catch it in the chat. I'll be emailing you so you can find them and all their books and all their fabulousnesses, Lina's beautiful paintings. So yeah, and then if you liked this, join me in a couple weeks. I'm going to be doing one on the Jazz Age in Paris. So yeah, I know. We're gonna look at sort of Black in sort of in honor of Black History Month. We're gonna be looking at sort of the Black Americans that made Paris so exciting in the 20s.
Cool.
How
Well,
exciting.
thank you so much for having us, and everybody, you are in very, very safe hands with Julia. She knows her stuff. I'm sure you've already figured. So thanks for having us, Julia, and thanks to
Thank you
everyone
so
for
much.
watching.
Thank you guys so much.
À bientôt. Au revoir.
Bye. A bientôt. Save chat. Oh.